Welcome to Bryson. My name's Conrad. I'm a business specialist. I'm going to share 5 steps to building business credit fast. And if you stay tuned to the end of the video, I have an extra reward for you and a gift for those that stay tuned to the end. I'm going to give you an extra pro tip that could trump even the 5 steps I'm going to mention now. It's a super hack that can help you build business credit wickedly fast, but you have to stay to the end to get that tip. But without further ado, let's hop right into it. Step 1, EIN. Employer Identification Number consists of 9 digits that are issued by the Internal Revenue Service. And what this does essentially is it allows you to set up your LLC, corporation, even a sole proprietorship, which we don't recommend here at this Bryson consulting firm, but you can set up a sole proprietorship with your actual EIN as a DBA and have your own EIN number. And what this does essentially is in any of these structures, you're able to build business credit. The banking institution will not issue you business credit unless you have a 9-digit EIN number for your sole proprietorship doing business as DBA or LLC or corporation, which we recommend here at Bryson Consulting Firm for liability protections. When you have a sole proprietorship, you don't have liability protections, meaning someone could sue you and it goes straight to your business. They can take your kids' accounts. They can still take your 401k. They can take a 529 account. They can sue you for everything you got, your house, your cars, etc. We don't recommend sole proprietorships, which is why you should lean toward LLCs, corporations, electing to become an S Corp, etc., to separate your liability. But the point is, EIN numbers are 9 digits that allow you to build business credit. And that's the only way, that's basically your ticket in to the bank to allow them to see you seriously, because banks don't like seeing you as a hobby and they want to see it as an entity. When they see you, they see you as a hobby, as someone who just has a hobby. When they see the business is an actual functioning real life entity that has its own EIN number, and it breathes life because now you have that EIN number, which is basically the birth certificate. When you get that confirmation from the IRS, very important to do this. EIN. Without that, stop watching the video. EIN. Next, Dun and Bradstreet number. Very important as well. Dun and Bradstreet number. Dun and Bradstreet is a business credit bureau, very similar to the consumer side, where Experian, Equifax, TransUnion is for the consumer side. For businesses, Business Equifax, Business Experian, and Dun and Bradstreet. Dun and Bradstreet allows you, and they give you a DUNS number. And what this does essentially is you can use that number to build credit, because when you're actually building credit and paying your bills on time, it's usually reported to one of these 3 major business credit bureaus. So having your DUNS number does 2 things for you. First, it allows you to show that you're really competing in the business world and the commercial industry. Second, you're allowed to you can look at your reports, and you can also make sure that all the information is correct. Sometimes there's information on Dun and Bradstreet that's incorrect, and that could tank your own business credit score. So you want to make sure to have access to your DUNS number. That way you can make sure all information being reported is correct. Sometimes incorrect information is reported, and if you don't have your own DUNS number, you don't check it, you don't know that why you're being declined or not being approved. You might find out that someone else has terrible credit and has a similar name to your business, or they had an address that you were at the time, but maybe they're not there anymore. You're the new tenant now, and now all their information is on your address and on your business. So having a DUNS number, you're able to check that and build your own credit in a more efficient manner, and you're seen as serious by the banking institutions. So very important, EIN and DUNS number, which is step 1. Step 2, business address. If you notice, I said business address. I did not say virtual address. Not to throw shade at virtual addresses, because hey, not everyone has a brick and mortar. Not everyone needs a brick and mortar, and sometimes it's just not cost effective. So yes, you can have a virtual address. So for those that already have a brick and mortar or a real office address, you could ignore step 2 and wait for step 3, but you might still want to listen to this. But for those that are thinking about getting a virtual address because maybe you work from home, maybe you just don't need an office, maybe you're downsizing, whatever the case might be, banks unfortunately scrutinize your address. And if they see a post office box, which is a PO box, or they see a UPS, a mail service address, or some type of mail service like that, or even some virtual addresses, they'll just decline you without even thinking twice about it. Or even when you try to open a bank account, they will just decline you and say, hey, we can't accept this address. So a smart thing to do is, instead of doing that and wasting time, go to your bank in person, or at least call them or go in person. Do research, look for at least, I would say, minimum 10 different virtual address companies or more, and give it to your banker and say, hey, which one of these addresses do you guys accept? They can put in each address for you and see which one sticks and go with the one that sticks. There's a lot of addresses. We have clients that come into Pearson Bryson, our consulting firm, and we find out that they have bad addresses. So for example, they're like, hey, I have an EIN number. I have my articles of corporation or articles of organization. I have an LLC of corporation. I have an S corp. Why am I being declined? We find out, oh, because you have a bad address. It's not accepted by the banking institution. So instead of wasting money on a virtual address or some ricochet address, make sure you contact your banker, at least over the phone or go in person with at least, I would say, minimum 10 different addresses and find out which one sticks, and whatever one sticks, go with that one. Very important to do this. Make sure you have a legitimate address, because again, the banks, if they see you as a hobby, if they see you just as a person using your home address, that's bad. A lot of people, what they do is when they go into the bank, they find they have a bad address, they just use their home address. Terrible, because again, it's about separating liability, and you want to be seen as a real business, not a hobby. Very important to do this. Make sure you have a legitimate address, but contact the bank immediately and verify. Step 3. Business phone number. Very important. Now I'm going to share something with you. I'm going to teach you guys something as well. You might have been aware of this, or maybe you weren't. Banks, when they look at your number, they search it and they see if it's real. So what you have to do essentially is, first, 9 out of 10 times, most banks will respect and typically give you less pushback, especially if you're trying to get a business loan or business credit or even a business checking account, is you want to make sure that you have a toll-free number. But hey, there's some industries, like say you have a restaurant, say you have a massage parlor, maybe you have some type of business that an 800 number just won't work. Maybe 877 number, 833 number, it just doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. You know, it just doesn't look friendly. It's too professional. And if you're at a restaurant, it's probably just, it's not a good number to have. But unfortunately, banks don't see it that way. The way banks look at it is that if it's a local area code, they might think it's a landline. They also might think that it's a cell phone number. So what you have to do, regardless if you have a toll-free number, not a toll-free number or a local area code, you must contact 411 directory and add your number. So many business owners don't know to do this, and I've had, just in the last 10 days, 11 clients have come to our consulting firm here at Pearson Bryson, and they've actually never added their number to the directory. So that means when a bank searches for it, they're nowhere to be found. So make sure you add your number. You can call AT&T or call your local cell phone provider or contact whoever jurisdicts your phone directory and add your number to 411, or simply just call 411 and find out how to add your number to the directory. Do this, very important, regardless if you have a local area code or if you have a toll-free number. Very important. If you don't do this, you're gonna be declined. Very important. Next. Bank account. You must open a business bank account, preferably a checking account and a savings account. Reason, you want to have a business debit card. That way you could spend money with your debit card, and that way you can show transactions. You want to build transaction history, and which builds up your bank rating, which is something different than your credit card score for your business. Bank rating is typically about the money that comes in, how much money you accrue, etc. There's a bank rating system, and the higher bank rating is, more likely you'll get business loans that are just thrown at you. So you want to become more favorable. So have a checking account with a debit card, a business debit card. Open your bank account with your EIN number, and that way now you're operating business, and they actually see you as a real business. So you must open a business bank account, but again, you must have a real address, as I mentioned before, and a real phone number that's seen as a business that's in the 401 directory. Next, number 5. Vendor credit. Vendor credit, what you say that is, there are certain companies, for example, like Uline, Granger, if you've heard of these, I left them in the link below as well. And I left EIN number, how to get your free EIN number. I also left Dun & Bradstreet, how to get your free Dun number in the description. And I also left a few vendor credits, how to get your vendor credit. So getting your vendor credit is very important, because if you don't have credit, that means you're not going to get credit, because they judge you off your payment history, but you have no payment history, right? So these allow you to, not, even if you don't have any history, to get vendor credit. So if, say you buy a stapler or paint or a dry erase board like a back of me, you buy that, they give you something called net 15, net 30, net 60, net 90, etc. You pay it within that time duration, and they issue credit to 3 credit bureaus. Usually after 90 days, it starts building on the 3 major business credit bureaus, and then you can start shopping for credit. Where you don't recommend just going willy-nilly. Make sure you only get credit that you need, maybe every 6 months, 1 to 2 times, so that you're not, so you don't look like you're desperate for credit. And that's the 5 steps. 6th step, secured business credit card. Go to your bank, ask them what a secured business credit card is, and that helps you build business credit wickedly fast with your EI.